Hi y'all, welcome to the Messy Studio. Hi y'all, this project is going to be for a segmented fruit bowl I was commissioned to make. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I thought I would try to speed things up a little bit and remove some of the background noise from my dust collector by simply doing a voiceover. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut all my segments for the first 3 rings. I cut my segments using a Craig miter gauge. I bought that several years ago at one of the woodworking shows for another project that I was working on. And it works very, very well. There's no slop. I don't have to sand anything out. I can glue the ring up in one piece and everything is a go. Before I got that, when I was doing my segmented stuff, many years ago, I bought one of the miter sets when they first came out from the guy that was originally making them. I mean, he was making them out of MDF, but they were very well machined, and now they're made out of a better material even than that, and they're just dead on. I was using my stock miter gauge with a long board screwed to it that was flat and parallel, and I got excellent results with it as well. It's a lot cheaper than the Craig, but you can use those. A lot of people like the Segi sled or the wedgie sled. I don't have one of those, didn't want to build one because what I have works really, really well. But I'll have links to both the miter set and the Craig miter gauge down below if you're interested. So once I get all of these first 3 rings cut, I get them glued together. I've got my segments cut for ring number 3. So I'm going to take these to the sander. I use my oscillating spindle sander. I've got the belt sander set up in it. I'm going to sand up all these fuzzies, and then we'll come back when I'm done with all of that, and we will put the first 3 rings together. Okay, I've got all the fuzzies sanded off. Time to do a dry fit. That looks good. This is just sanding off the fuzzies. It's straight off of the Craig jig. All right, let's glue these together. We'll let this one set up and dry and start on another. So we'll set this one up to dry, and I'll come back when I'm ready to do the next ring. Okay, got the next ring ready to go together. It looks good. No gaps. Unlike the last one where I used a 3/8 piece of mesquite, I'm actually using 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch spalted hickory. Another ring. All the joints are nice and tight. Set that up and let it dry. This circular piece of laminate came from an old cabinet that I tore out of my house in Ohio when I remodeled. I cut it into circular form, trued it up on the lathe, glued a homemade drilled and tapped face plate on the back of it, turned it, and cut grooves in it about every ½ inch. What that does is it lets me center these rings up on this, and it's tapped to mount to my Powermatic Live Center. I'll screw this plate onto the front of my Live Center, then I'll set it down like you see here, and I'll center the ring on that. Once it's good in center, and I check it all the way around, then I'll hot glue it in about 8 places, and then take it to the lathe. I'm going to use this piece for a floating bottom. Now the hot glue doesn't do anything but hold the ring in place while I'm gluing that ring to the ring that's on the actual faceplate for the turning. In this case, I'm actually gluing the first ring to the faceplate itself. I'll run a bead of glue, glue the two together, line them up, and then let them sit for, 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'll pop the hot glue off and take the jig back to the bench, hot glue another ring on, and repeat that process for the first several rings. Before I can glue the floating bottom in, I have to true up the face of this ring, get it flat, and cut a recess in it. Okay, got it flat. Now I'm just going to make the inside round. And to do that, I'm just simply going to use a parting tool. It's right at 5 1/4 inches according to this. Okay, I've got this one hot glued to the centering plate. I've got some pressure on it. I'm going to hot glue these two together because I just need this to be temporary. I'm going to hot glue these two together all the way around. I just need it to be strong enough to let me cut the inside circle. So I'm going to let that harden up about, 30 minutes. And we'll be back. Okay, now I want to flatten this off. And then cut this round on the inside. And the battery died. So got it plugged in. I'm going to cut the 1/4 inch recess in here, and then I'll get to shaping the bottom. Now I'm going to glue this to the waste block. I've got my center point there. I don't need much, just enough to hold it. Alright, I'll let this set up for about an hour, and then I'll come back and cut this to shape or to the dimensions I need. Perfecto mundo. Now I have the recess cut on the front. Now I need to cut one on the back to fit the first ring. Shouldn't take much. I just had a little bit of a glue joint there. I'm not going to cut into the oak, I'm going to cut the pine block away. Yep. That'll work. Okay. I've got this turned, got the right hole in it. I've got this with the right hole in it. This is the right size on both sides. So I'm going to glue this in here. Then I'm going to put this on. I'm eyeballing this so that this is in the center of those other segments. Yeah, I could use one of those elaborate jigs like everybody uses. I say everybody, like a bunch of people use. If I'm off over a 32nd or a 64th of an inch, you're not going to be able to see it. Alright, it looks good. Now I'm going to let this set up for... Well, I need to give it a good couple of hours. And then I'll face off this top ring that's underneath this. And I'll face off the top ring. I'll hit this with my big disc sander. Make sure it's nice and smooth and flat. And then I'll glue it on and use this to clamp it in place again. And then I can go on and make the rest of the rings. So when this sets up, I'll come back to face it off. Okay, before I can glue this ring to the next one, I need to sand it up a little bit. Make sure it's good and flat. That ought to do her. Alright, the epoxy's dry. I'm going to clean it off. Time to glue the other ring on. Now when I put that on, I'm going to slide it around so I get a good even spread, and then center my joints. Let that dry for an hour or so, and it's time to start milling up the rest of the rings. Okay, while I'm waiting on those other two rings to dry, I'm going to start. This is my bottom. This is actually the first depth ring, and it will cut away some into the second ring and into the bottom. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start rough shaping the outside of the bottom, since I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. And there's that. I'll have kind of an OG here where it sweeps down into the foot. Now I'll flatten this off. Alright, now I'm ready to glue the next ring on. So I guess we wait. Sometimes you're doing a segmented bowl like this big fruit bowl or a big salad bowl, and your clamps just aren't big enough. Well, I learned this little trick from another YouTuber named Earl Rasmussen. I'll put a link to his channel down below. You can check his stuff. He does some amazing segmented stuff, much better than I do. But I got this little trick from him. This is just a scrap piece of reclaimed fence board that I drilled a hole through. I cut a notch here, and you'll see what I use that for in a minute. And I put a little groove here for relief. Now, for less than the cost of a box of clamps, or these kind of clamps, you can pick up a roll of this nylon sash cord or clothesline string at Walmart or any of the discount stores. Anyway, you pull that around. I don't have this set to length yet. I just made it. I've got another one, but it wasn't big enough. So, once I figure out how big I'm going to need that, I'll come back down here and I'll tie another knot in it. And then when I get ready to do the final clamping, and as you can see, all these joints are nice and tight. When I get ready to do the final clamping, I'll have this knot in here. I'll put a screwdriver in it and I'll twist it, and that's what this groove back here is for. He shows you how to make it. It's a great clamp, a great clamping system. You get plenty of tight. So when I get these all glued up, I'll be back. Okay, I've got all the last of the rings glued up, and when I get them sanded up, I'll stack them up and glue them together, and we'll finish turning this fruit bowl. Okay, I've got this hot glued to my centering plate. Yes, it's still on my live center. I've got a short nail, or I got a nail the right diameter that I cut off for length, stuck through the hole, and I've secured it in place with tape. I'm securing this between centers, and that's going to allow me to flatten this face. Now what I'm going to do, as they would say in Louisiana, or Louisiana, especially folks like Justin Wilson, he would say, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on up here like this. And I am, because both of these are flat now. I know. Sometimes it's hard for even me to believe I have a college education. I'm gonna run me a good bead of glue right here. I'm gonna line these up. Oopsie, I almost forget it. Something real important. Muy importante. I need to take this tape and nail off of here so this will spin. That old boy Mo with the middle name Ron almost showed up again. We can't be having that. It's already, the glue's already making contact. I can feel it. It's making more contact. Want to spread it out good. Bring it in a little bit, keep it turning, and then line everything up. Give this a few hours to dry. Come back like I did all the others. Take the plate off. Flatten this edge. Hot glue the next ring to the plate. Glue the next ring on. And I'll do this for the remaining 4 rings. Okay, got the last ring on. So I'm going to start shaping the inside. I'm not going to do the outside until I finish the inside. I want to get the inside cut to shape. That'll tell me how thick I need to leave the outside. And I'll do the outside last. polish on this. Basically the same formula as OB Shine Juice. I bought this years ago and I still have it, so I'm going to use it. Because I've got this lip polished as well, I'm going to give this a few minutes to dry because it is just largely wax. So I'm going to let this dry for a little while. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to put this back in the tailstock. And then I'm going to push this up against here to do the outside. And there's a reason for that. I either read something or saw something somebody did or said that said if you've got a hollow piece, now a bowl is essentially a hollow piece. It's not a hollow form, but it's a hollow piece. If you've got a hollow piece and you put it between centers to finish the outside, it's a lot more stable. You'll have less vibration. And the reason is because once you've got it between centers nicely, outside to outside, it doesn't know it's hollow. So it'll turn just like a solid piece. We'll be back. As you can tell, it's got a pretty good shine. Now I'll actually let that dry for a little while because it's got to harden up and cure up. Then I'll come back and part the bottom off. Okay, got it parted off. I've got it running about as true as I can get it. I already made this round, so now what I'm going to do is take it into there. That's good. Alright, now I'll take this over to the workbench, sand this inside, sign it, put some shellac on it, and then I think I'll put a coat of antique oil on the bottom And then tomorrow, I'll put a coat of Renaissance wax over the whole thing and buff it off. So here it is, peoples. One each. Fruit bowl as requested. Segmented. That's what he wanted. Made from oak flooring that I milled up. Some mesquite that was otherwise too split in some places to make something out of. And some spalted hickory that I cut most of the insect holes out of, so that I'd have just spalted hickory and I wouldn't have a lot of insect trails. But all in all, I'm happy with it. I think it looks pretty good. Floating bottom. It's actually sandwiched between these two rings and cut to size. I cut this tenon a little bit too deep apparently, but I think it gives it, that reveal gives it kind of a different look. Accent ring in the middle with red epoxy. My wife actually said, "That is so beautiful, I love it. Tell him I'll trade him mine for it." So I guess I'm gonna have to make her one. So thanks for watching. Y'all come back and see us. I hit my sign, didn't I? Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. It's just a simple segmented piece, 235 pieces. And the next video, I'll finish off a Cocobolo pin, going to the same guy. And oh yeah, I remember now. My next project is gonna be for my oldest granddaughter's wedding. She asked me to make her a candle holder for her unity candle and the two candles that the bride and groom each light. She's getting married in July, and she asked me to make her a candle holder, something that she can keep forever with my name on it. So that's the next thing I'm going to tackle. I haven't decided what wood I'm going to use yet. Initially I was thinking, let's just use, I've got a piece of pine that's the right size. I thought, let's just use some pine and paint it, but I don't think that's what she wants. She said she wants natural wood color. So I've got to search around for what I have and see what I can come up with. When I figure that out, I'll see you back here at the lathe. Thanks for watching again, y'all. Come back and see us.